Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphan Last, aka Skylar Madison, and welcome to yet another video on Blender, specifically things that you can do with the grease pencil. Now, this video is not going to be so focused on animation as it is more so geared towards helping people that are just drawing things. Blender is actually extremely effective at basically making it so that if you don't know how to use perspective inside of your drawings, then this will be able to be kind of a shortcut in some ways. Now, I'm going to be working on the rough sketch for my Patreon drawing request for the month inside of this video. So I'm going to press 7 and I'm just going to create a bit of a floor plan of what it is that I want to be inside of the scene. Okay, so I know that I kind of want there to be an ocean out here sort of situation. I also kind of want to create a bit of a topographical sort of map to some extent, to where if you've ever seen a military map, anytime that there is some sort of slope or incline or something like that, then you wind up seeing a bunch of closed shapes, kind of like what I'm drawing right now. And that's exactly what I'm going for, basically. Alright, that's cool. And maybe we'll have another sort of shape that goes something like that. Alright, that's cool. And maybe there might be something like a hut, some sort of building out here. Okay, excellent. So as I rotate around the scene, we can see it's just a flat object, just like a map. Okay, let's go into edit mode, and I'm just going to select these, press L, press G, and then Z to lock it on the Z axis. I'm just going to bring it up just a bit. Alright, that looks good. So now I'm just going to select all of these, press L, G, Z, and bring it up a bit more, and then grab these two, G, Z, and press L, G, Z, and bring it up, and then grab this last one, G, Z, and bring it up. Alright, so now we kind of have a little bit of a hill going on there, and so this is something that's kind of cool. I drew this out with the intention of having everything above it be higher up in the air, so I'm just going to press L after having selected all of this, and I'm just going to press G, Z, and bring it up, and that looks good, and maybe GX to kind of bring it out like that sort of experience. And so maybe if I go into draw mode, I can kind of draw out some stuff. The problem is that, at least in my experience in doing this, after you draw a line, you pretty much just have to move the line every time. And so if you have to move the line, then that means you have to move it, and then you have to sculpt it into position, and that can get kind of frustrating over time. Okay, so I can go ahead and just select this line, press L, press Shift D, and just kind of keep duplicating it, just so that I have some sort of idea as to the shape of this here as it extends out towards the distance. I do feel as though there is a lot missing out of the scene, though. I feel like all of this needs to be drawn out more off towards the distance. So maybe go into draw mode. Okay, so I went ahead and drew something that could represent the horizon line, that big circle that I drew out, which is kind of interesting. I kind of like how that turned out. Alright, let's go into edit mode, grab this line, press L, and let's get it to being about the same height as the other one. Okay, so let's press 3 and just grab it by pressing G and then Z, and yeah, that looks good. And I don't necessarily have to do this stuff all the way through. It's just something that was an idea. So here, this I had a couple of ideas for. I'm going to select a number of these lines here, and I'm just going to press L, Shift D, Z, and bring it up quite a ways, and that looks good. So now what I'm thinking about doing is just grabbing the vertices that I need on this line here and rotate it, and just selecting the vertices that I need on this line right here, and then selecting this line entirely. Okay, and now oops, what happened? Okay, let's try that again. Okay, excellent. Now I'm going to press rotate R, and I'm just going to see what it looks like that. And now I'm just going to grab it and bring it down like so. Alright, that looks good. Let me press 7 really quick here. Something's looking a little bit off about this. So let me grab this vertice and move it in. Okay, so that looks cool. Alright, now back to draw mode. Press 0, and I need to have a line that goes across here. Excellent. And see, like I said, you have to go into edit mode, or at least how I understand this, and select the line after you draw it, each and every single line, and make sure that you move it into position, which to me, it kind of prevents me from ever really kind of taking this seriously as a very effective way to draw. Have to keep on switching from one mode to another in order to get the behaviors that you want, and that's just kind of frustrating to me. So I don't know, it makes it so that you can't ever refine your image is how it makes me feel whenever I draw in 3D. Alright, so let me relax this line a bit. Okay, that's cool. Okay, now back to edit mode and grabbing this stuff and trying to get this line to be just the way I want it, or somewhat close to the way I want it. Okay, so that's as close as I'm going to get it, it looks like. Alright, so maybe I might want to grab these here and just grab them and extend them out just a bit, just so that I have some overhang. Now, it may not seem obvious right now what I'm doing, but what I am doing is I'm creating some sort of house, some sort of building here, and working off of that. Okay, so let's go into draw mode and just draw a few lines. Why isn't it drawing? What in the world? Okay, so it created a bunch of scribbles way out here by accident. That's weird. Okay, I'm going to press Control 3 in order to draw this out. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so let's see if I can somehow get this stuff to work the way that I need it. Alright, so let me press 1 maybe. Okay, yeah, I'm able to... I don't know what's going on with this line. Dissolve that. Alright, so that's interesting. Okay, so gonna grab this line, GX, and bring it to this corner here. And I'm not trying to refine this image at all. I'm just trying to get a rough sketch that's three-dimensional. Like I said, this can really help artists who have difficulty visualizing their image. There's a lot of things I'd like to do with this, but it's just so convoluted to try all of it. So let's see, Shift D, X, move this over here. Awesome. Alright, so let me press Control 3 once again, go into draw mode, and just kind of draw this out here. Okay, cool. Now I need to go back into edit mode and select each and every single line that I draw individually and put it where it needs to be. Alright, cool. Cool beans. Alright, and now I'm just going to select these two lines, GX, and bringing it to the back. Oh, wait, no. Control Z, Shift D, GX. And bring it back here, and there's this line right here that can be copied, so Shift D, X, and moving it towards GX, towards this corner here, and so we kind of have this sort of building here. Now I'm going to press Control 3 and zoom in on this, Control 3 and zoom in on this, and I want to draw out a shape that will fit into this little gap. Okay, so that looks good. Let me go ahead and rotate around the scene and see how that's looking. Okay, cool. So let's go into edit mode and grab these two lines and press L and GX and bring it right there so that lines up with what I currently have on my floor plan. I'm going to press Shift D, GX, and bring it over here. Shift D, GX, and bring it over here. Let me make sure that it's lining up okay. And it's alright. It's not amazing, but it's a start of something. Shift D, GX. Awesome. Okay, so we can kind of start to see some things starting to happen here. So I'm gonna press 3 really quick here, go into draw mode, and just draw two vertical lines just on either side of this archway that I've created. let's see where it placed them. Okay, so it placed them out here towards the beach, I guess. Okay, so edit mode. Let me grab these two and press G and Z and put them into position. Hopefully they will work where they are. Okay, so G, X. Okay, so that's good enough. So Shift D, X. Alright, Shift D, X. Shift D, X. Awesome. Okay, so we got some shapes going on. Let's press 7 and go into draw mode and then just draw out some lines on the top of both of these archways. And now I need to find where it placed them. Okay, so it placed them underneath. So edit mode. Let's go ahead and grab these two lines. Press L, G, Z, and that brings it up. So grab these two lines, L, G, Z, and bring it up. Okay, so now we're able to see kind of a three-dimensional sketch of a building. And maybe this might be the garage right here. So let me see an angle. Oh, that was an angle right there that I could use. So I'm going to go into draw mode, and maybe I might draw out something that might be able to be interpreted as a garage door. Okay, so that's cool. I got 3 lines there, and now I need to find out where in the world... Oh, okay, so I think I found them. Object, or edit mode, and I found them. Awesome. Press L, G, Y, and move them towards us right here, okay? So, you know, I want to scale it and press Z so that I can shrink it down a bit, and then press G and Z and bring this down just a tad bit. That looks good. Alright, so I want it to be a garage door, so I'm going to select this top line, and I'm just going to press Shift D, then Z, and keep repeating that process. I'm going to select both of these and press Shift D, Z. Excellent. Now I'm going to select all of these. Shift D. I think this is the last time that I'm going to be making selections, so I'm just going to press Shift D once again. And so now I kind of have this three-dimensional sketch here for that right there. So that's kind of cool. Really kind of cool. I actually have a building here. Maybe this isn't quite the right place for this building though. Maybe it belongs more over within this region. I want it to be in frame. So I'm just going to grab it and press Y, G, Y, and then G, X, and that places it there. If I press 0, we can kind of sort of start to see something here. Let me press N on my keyboard, and this is like information for your camera. So like we can actually move the camera right here, forward, backward on the y-axis, z-axis, z-axis, and kind of think about things. We could even rotate the camera so that we have a bird's eye view or something like that, kind of angling it down or up to get kind of a 3-point perspective look. We can get a Dutch angle with the y-axis, and we can also kind of pivot the camera around a little bit. Okay, and I kind of want an angle kind of like that. Okay, so I have frustration specifically with the camera. So I'm going to select the camera in object mode. Alright, so now that that's selected, I now have this object data. It's a little tab that has an icon that looks like a camera. And we can actually change its focal length. Let me press 0 to get into it. So like we can do some strange things with it. We can even change its field of view as well, so that we can include more or less of the scene in the camera. Kind of give it a little bit of a panoramic sort of appearance, and I'm just going to play around with the position, the camera's position a little bit more and more. I know that I want the camera to look up, so this is going to be a little bit of a bird's eye view of the scene, but I don't really have much of a beach that's visible in this camera angle, and I kind of do want to have the beach be visible, but it's fine for right now. So one thing that's kind of aggravating me are these lines right here and these lines right here. Let me go ahead and press L and see if that helps at all. I'm going to sculpt mode and play around with the line thickness. I believe there's a way for me to do that. No, not in sculpt mode, draw mode. Let's see. Weight paint maybe. Nope, it's not weight paint. It's got to be in sculpt mode. Thickness, okay. press A twice so that I can see what I'm doing here. And you can actually see me thickening up these lines quite a bit. And this is going to inform me what lines are closer to me. What's in front and what's behind, or at least closest to the camera. Okay, so that's cool. Alright, cool. Okay, so now it's much clearer what's going on in the scene now that I have that accomplished. However, I now don't like the size of this building. So I'm just going to select it, and maybe I might want to scale it up vertically. So SZ and scale it up. Grab it on the Z axis and move it up. And let me press 3 real quick. G, move it there like that. Alright, cool. Okay, let me press 0 and see where it's at. I don't know. Let me press 0. I'm going to play around with the camera angle a bit more. Okay, excellent. So now that we have that accomplished, I'm going to go into draw mode, and I just kind of want to draw a coconut tree. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys something really cool. Alright, now if I go into object mode, well, first of all, I need to find out where that drew my lines. And that's some of the frustration of drawing like this. So I'm just going to go into edit mode real quick and select the lines that I just drew out, and then start rotating around this. Okay, so it's glued to the camera, it looks like, and they're tiny. So let me grab this and move it here. Let's see what I can do here. Let me press 3, grab it, move it into position here, and then press 1, and then move it into position. See if that works. Let me press 0, see how that's looking. Okay, so I'm going to scale it up just like that. Cool. Grab it, move it into position, but now it's just too tall. Let's see. Okay. Interesting. Now, I wish I could just draw on it. I mean, here's the point of origin, and let's see here. Let's go into object mode real quick. Object, set origin to geometry. Nope, that just moved the entire scene. Okay, that still didn't move the origin. It's still in the spot that it was in. Let me press Control Z. Okay, I just need to select these lines. Okay, press L. The origin is right here. This is something that I've been struggling with for a while. Why did it do that? Oh, it's in object mode. So that is so frustrating. Whatever, it's not important. But okay, so now I'm going to show you the thing that I think is really awesome. Okay, so we have palm tree here. I want to create in object mode a mesh. Add mesh UV sphere. Okay, so we now have this sphere. Let me go ahead and place it right about there-ish. That looks good. Let me just get a couple angles on it to make sure that it's in a presentable spot. That's awesome. Okay, so now that I have that accomplished, I'm going to go into draw mode. But if you have your UV sphere selected, you'll notice that draw mode isn't available. That's because you have sphere selected here. This is the UV sphere, and you need to have your strokes selected inside of your collections. Okay? Once you have your strokes selected inside of your selections, you go into draw mode with no problem. Okay? So, origin, let's see, surface. We set this to surface, and we scale it up to maybe, I don't know, 37, and I draw a line, and you'll notice that the line is curving around the shape of the sphere. So that's awesome, alright? But I think that I dialed this up a little bit too high. Let me do something like, let's see, 0.00010 basic, and let's try that. Okay, that's still way crazy. So I'm just going to press 0 real quick, and then I'm going to dial it up to 6. That sounds good to me. So if I draw that out, alright, that's not a ridiculous distance away. So let me press Control Z, and let me think about this a little bit. Okay, so I can go ahead and just draw out a line. One of the downsides to drawing like this is sometimes you're not really able to see your line as you're drawing it. And so right now I'm just drawing out the shape of one leaf. Okay, that one leaf. And sometimes you might need to just rotate around your canvas, which is the sphere at this point, in order for you to actually see what you're drawing, at least to some extent. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and draw another one that does a different amount of coverage. Alright, that looks good. And it's weird because now I can actually see my lines as I'm drawing them, whereas on the other I wasn't, and I'm not really quite sure what the reason is for that. I do actually find that extremely frustrating. It makes the program very very unpredictable. As a new user to Blender, that is my assessment of that problem. Okay, alright, time for another one. Yeah, it's completely random, it seems, when this is going to allow me to be able to see what I'm drawing and when it will. Like, I'm doing nothing different, and yet now I can only see what I'm drawing after I lift my stylus, and that is extremely frustrating. And here, I'm doing nothing different, and now I can totally see it. Like, what is the deal? I don't understand that. Maybe it's a bug that just needs to be worked out, but that is very frustrating. Artists like to see their lines as they're drawing them, okay? Just seeing your line after you draw it's not very effective. And I don't know why I'm able to see the silhouette of the line work, the grease pencil line work on this three-dimensional surface, this inverted silhouette. I don't understand that either. Why am I seeing that? Okay, excellent. So now that we have that accomplished, I'm going to go into object mode, grab my sphere, and I'm just going to get it out of the way for now. Okay, actually, I'm going to go into my camera view, grab it, and I'm going to set it down, and then I'm going to grab it, and on the y-axis, I'm going to get it way off into the distance. Well, let's take a look at this. Let me see what I can do here. Let me go into the materials, create a new material, and change its color to yellow. And that changed the color of the sphere to being yellow itself. So now I'm going to scale it up a bit, grab it, and move it on the y-axis, GY. And it looks like it only renders it out so far off into the distance. So there's no way that I'm able to get it beyond what I've established as is my horizon line. This is what the horizon line is in a three-dimensional environment. It's just a big circle that surrounds you. Okay, so this is how you would either get a perfect circle or you draw out just a line that basically forms something circular, and that's your horizon line. Okay, so I'm not able to get what I want to be my sun out here and have it render. So that's fine, but the main focus of attention right now isn't the sun, it is the coconut tree. All right, and so now what I want to do is I want to grab these coconut tree leaves, and put them where they will look really cool on all of this. So I'm going to just carefully select just one of them, press L. Well, I think I might have selected a little bit of stuff that I don't want to select, so I'm going to double tap the A button. Okay, I need to make sure I only select the lines that I want. Okay, excellent. So I got that leaf selected, and now I'm just going to, wow, why am I not able to navigate very well around the scene? That is so weird. Alright, so I'm going to grab this, I'm going to place it onto my coconut tree, okay? And, alright, excellent. Let me press 3. Okay, so all of that other stuff is getting in the way of me being able to do what I want to do with this. So I'm going to select all that, press L, and move it out of the way. Maybe I might have screwed one of these up, but I'm okay if I screwed up just one of them. Alright, cool. So I'm going to press 0, maybe rotate this one on the Z-axis, maybe. Yeah, and grab it, move it right into position. Awesome. Alright, maybe rotate it a little bit like that. I don't know. Let's see. I'm trying to visualize this a little bit. So now I'm going to grab another one of my leaves, press L, press 1, grab it, and then press 7 and make sure everything's good. Okay, so now it's in the position that it needs to be in. Let me press 1. Okay, 3. Okay, yeah, everything's looking good. So that's cool. I'm kind of liking that. From the camera angle as well, it looks like it's going good. Let me press Shift D and rotate it. Let's see, rotate on the Z-axis. I don't know. Let's see. Rotate Z-axis. Okay, 180 maybe. And then rotate on the Y-axis. Yeah, that looks good. Awesome. So let's grab it and move it into position. That's cool. Let's press 7. I think it needs to be around here-ish. And now let's press 0. Okay, yeah. Now it's more within the realm of where it needs to be. But I don't like its size, so I'm gonna just press S to scale it. Awesome. And then now let's go ahead and grab it and put put it into position. Cool. Press 7. Alright, looks good to me. Let's grab another one of these leaves. Let's get one of these obnoxiously sized ones. Alright, that's cool. Let's press 0, grab it, put it into position, press 7, make sure that it actually is in position. Awesome. And let's scale this one down a bit. Let's rotate it on the x-axis a little bit. This is kind of feeling a little bit wrong. And okay, rotate on the, let's see, y-axis. No, rotate on the y-axis. Yeah, that's looking better. Let's grab it and move it into position. Press 7, press 1. Cool. Press 0. That's looking pretty good. Awesome. Okay, that looks good. Let's I'm gonna press Shift D and rotate it and grab it and move it up here. That looks good. I need to rotate it maybe on the y-axis. Yeah, that's looking better. Grab it and move it around. Okay, that's looking good. Finding a few things that I've done wrong, but generally the sketch is still intact, so I must not be doing anything too wrong. Okay, cool. Fixed the house a little bit. There was just something a little bit wrong with it. Alright. Okay, let me press 0 and make sure that's in position. It looks all wrong. Let me press 7. Okay, press 0. That's not going to do anyone any good. Let me scale it up. Grab it. That's kind of cool. Let's grab this one up here. Grab it, move it into position. Press 7. Make sure it's in position. Press 0. Make another little adjustment. Let's rotate it on the y-axis, maybe x-axis. Yes, x-axis looks good. Rotate on the y-axis. Grab it and move it up here, maybe. Rotate on the y-axis. No, it's not working out very well that way. Whatever. I'm going to delete this one. I'm just going to work with what I currently got here. This actually looks pretty good, and I'm going to press 0 really quick. And the goal is, with this Patreon drawing request, I'm going to be drawing some guy coming up with a creative way of picking. What happened? Everything went dull. Some guy that doesn't know how to pick coconuts is going to be trying to pick coconuts in a kind of backwards sort of way. Okay, that's interesting. It's difficult drawing this way. It's really frustrating. So I need to have some coconuts be visible. Okay, so that's the coconuts. And now, right, I drew out these walls for the hill, which maybe that might have fixed it. No, it didn't. Okay, that's good enough. Well, maybe not. That's ridiculous. Like, trying to draw this way is really frustrating to me, but the very idea is cool, even if you don't know every feature. And I know that there's a lot of features to this actually. You're still able to come up with a tool that's helping you create a sketch, and then once you have it sketched out, you get to pick your camera angle. Okay, and that is invaluable. So now, you know, I'm just going to draw out the main character, which is going to be some guy that's just standing around here. And the idea is that, let me press Ctrl Z a bunch of times, let me get rid of him. The idea is that he's trying to pick coconuts in a really bizarre sort of way with some sort of contraption, okay? And I've decided that contraption is going to be a gun. Let me go into object mode real quick. Add, let's see here, grease pencil, blank. Okay, so now I have a new grease pencil layer. I have stroke, which is everything that I've been drawing, and now I have grease pencil, which is nothing at this point. So now I can draw without having to struggle with the idea of erasing my background by accident. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm just going to draw out somewhat of a silhouette of a guy. I don't know, maybe he's kind of fed up with life or something, and maybe he has a particular
set of skills, and he is going to utilize them on this coconut tree.
And let me go ahead and see where he's all at. That's cool. Let's go into edit mode, and you'll notice that he's not straight up and down. He is parallel to how the camera is positioned, like vertically speaking. He's parallel to that, and so I'm okay with that, at least in this specific situation. Okay, so I'm going to go into edit mode. And, well, wait a second, let me make sure I just have, oh gosh, that's frustrating. I guess I did put him on the same layer anyways. It's fine. edit mode, let me go ahead and select him and kind of just put him in position and then press 0. Let's scale him up. That's awesome. I like this. This is a good sketch. Let me go back into draw mode. Well, no, if I add anything more onto him, I'm just going to have to move it all over again. So these are some of the cool things and some of the things that I'm frustrated with when I work in Blender when I'm trying to create a three-dimensional sketch. As of right now, I feel as though what I know currently can help a lot of people, because people trying to visualize this building off in the background and a worm's eye view and everything, like if I wanted to draw something much more elaborate like a cityscape and such like that, and the camera's just in this wild and crazy sort of position, you know, I could do all of that and without having to struggle with having to pick it up or anything. Let me go into object mode and grab this sun here. I kind of want to move it into a more, I don't know, graphic design sort of location, someplace between these two figures here. That sounds good to me. Let me go ahead and go into object mode real quick and select the strokes and go into edit mode really quick. Alright, let me go into the camera mode. Okay, in the fills area, let's see what happens when I draw in the fills. Draw. Okay, so let's go materials. I'm gonna add a new material and I'm just gonna say new and have a fill that is just kind of a sandy sort of color, okay? And probably a really bright sandy color. Okay, so that looks good to me. And so that is the stroke and the fill. Well, let's get rid of the stroke and just work with fill, okay? A sandy color. Alright, that looks good. So when I draw with it, yeah, I have exactly that. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to kind of draw out the shape of the scene. Alright, excellent. And so now that I kind of have the silhouette of the scene drawn out, I can just kind of refine it just a bit more. Alright, and maybe I might want to add another material. Let's do that. Let's add new and just have a black fill. Alright, let's see what we can do with drawing him out like this. Maybe we might be able to work out a better pose than our initial sketch, or maybe we might be able to come up with something that looks really cool. It's hard to be super accurate with this. I guess that's somewhat of the reason why the sculpt tool exists, and that's cool, like the sculpt tool, but I just don't want to depend on the sculpting functions too much as of right now. Okay, cool. So I have a little bit of a better idea as to what his pose is going to be. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. And my goal right now has not ever been to make a fully fleshed out image. It's just been to come up with a sketch. Oh, it appears as though I accidentally drew it on the surface of this ball. How trippy. Oh, and even the fills did that. That is so cool. It's because I forgot to, instead of draw mode, I forgot to tell it to stop drawing to surfaces. And so the fills, even though they look perfect to the camera, or they look accurate enough for a sketch, like, it's such forced perspective. You know, this in and of itself is a very interesting work of art. And I would consider this pretty much finished. But like, for it to look like this, and for you to switch into like 3D mode, and you're able to see just how fake the scene is from multiple angles, it's kind of fascinating. But yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and export this. Here you can go into the render settings and all of that, but there's this render option up here, render image, okay? And so now we can see what this image currently looks like. And I'm happy with it. This is a good enough sketch for me to continue in a different program. I do think that I made the sun a little bit too big, but I'm not going to change that. It's fine. This is good enough for a sketch. So at this point, I can save it by going image, save as, and at this point I need to search through all of my stuff that I'm working on, like such as my art, where I save my artwork. And I'm just going to go ahead and call this Patreon Blender, okay? And I'm going to save the image, and it's going to save it as a PNG. So save as. All right, let's close out of this. I'm going to close out of Blender, and honestly, even though there are some curiously fascinating things that happened with this, I don't want to save it. But now I'm going to go into Affinity Photo, File New, and I'm going to go with the desktop wallpaper size, File, Place, and then all I need to do is find the image and place it into the canvas. And that's it right there. At this point, I can safely just lower the opacity of these lines and start drawing. Okay, this is already sketched out. I can start fleshing this out a little bit better, refining it. So for those of you that are making comic books, those of you that want to draw something cool with all of your characters in it, but you don't understand three-dimensional space, this might be able to help you a little bit. But in the end, I do feel as though people need to learn perspective. Okay, this is a tool that's helpful even to me. Sometimes it's difficult to visualize a scene, but even still, you should be able to, if you work hard enough at it, figure out how to do perspective and figure it out on your own without any difficulty. Anyways, guys, that pretty much concludes it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And if you guys would like to get more notifications from me, feel free to click on the bell or go ahead and follow me on Twitter or follow me on my Discord server. A link to my Twitter and Discord is in the video description below. And if you'd like to support my channel, there's a link to my Patreon in the upper right corner of the screen. It's an image of my mascot. And if you'd like to see any of my content, feel free to click on anything that's appearing on the screen right now. Thank you very much for your time.